Everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. I haven't made a video on here in a really long time, and I don't really have a good excuse for that except for the fact that I went back to school. I started working last summer. But a lot of things have happened behind the scenes of what I do, especially with cars, since I made my last video. So if you guys remember, in my last video, or not my last video, but I had a 1999 BMW Z3M Coupe. Since those videos were taken, I sold that car. It's actually a long story, and I think I'm going to make an entire video just talking about that because it's actually a pretty interesting story, sad ending. But as you can tell from the title of this video, that's not at all what this one's about. This one is about this. So if you know Mercedes and you know cars, you know this is a 2013 C63 AMG. I just picked this car up a few weeks ago. I didn't film a video collecting it. I wish I had, but today I'm going to talk to you all about this car, how to shop for these cars. There are a lot of weird nuances that you'd want to know when you're looking for cars like this, and I've honestly had a ton of people ask me about them. So I'm going to go over the spec on this car, what to look for, what years to buy, and I'm just going to go for a drive. But first, I want you guys to hear how this car sounds on a cold start. This car sounds nuts. Definitely not quiet. It's not too crazy loud, which is kind of what I like about this car. It's pretty daily drivable at this volume, but after it warms up, I'll go somewhere that's not my neighborhood, get you guys some revs, get a few exhaust clips of this car. It sounds pretty mental. Found somewhere nice and quiet to film my car. So, for starters, for most people that don't know about these cars, this is a 2013 C63, and the chassis code for these is the W204. That spanned from the 2008 to 2014 C-Class. My car, as you can tell by like the headlights, the front bumper, the rear bumper, the interior, the taillights, my car is a facelift. They started the facelift cars in 2012. And that's one of the big things for these C63s that you really want to look for a facelift, in my opinion. So the pre-facelift cars, they were great. Same engine pretty much, except those engines had head bolt issues. That's a whole other thing I'll talk about. But for these cars, the pre-facelift C63s, the 2008 to 2011s, came with a transmission that was like just a normal torque converter transmission. And it was all right. But this car came with something that Mercedes introduced as the MCT, which they call their multi-clutch transmission, and it shifts so much faster, especially on upshifts. The transmission in this car for an automatic is actually pretty good. Sorry if my hand's shaking, by the way. The transmission in this car for an automatic is actually pretty good. You notice a lot of things, like it's still kind of like sluggish sometimes. I really like manual cars. If you could tell by my last car, I'm a manual car enthusiast, but this car is definitely all right with the automatic. As well, so a few things to note about this specific car. So my car is a performance pack. You can tell that they're a performance pack by things like the big red brakes, the carbon fiber lip on this. These are just the visual things. The brakes are actually bigger, they're better brakes. And Alcantara on the steering wheel. I'll show you that when I show the interior. But some of the bigger things with the performance pack for these gens is it has the forged internals out of the SLS Black Series, out of the C63. So it's got a beefed up engine, and it's got 481 horsepower over something in the 450s that the standard car comes with. One thing to note when you're looking at these cars, most W204 C63s actually didn't come option with a differential, and something very weird that AMG did. So my car, because it's a facelift, it has the P31 performance pack. That doesn't come with the LSD. For these cars, before they did the facelift, the P30 performance pack that came in the cars with the older transmission and the bad headlights and everything, those cars did come with the LSD, but just to rob money, I really think, Mercedes, when this car came out, they offered the performance pack and then they offered the differential as an option on top. This car has both the P31 performance pack and the option code 471 differential. So when you're looking for these cars, something very, very good to look for when you look up the build sheet is the option number 471, that's the limited slip differential. And I seriously don't know how you could own one of these cars without an LSD. I mean, This car barely puts the power down to the ground with the power going to 2 tires. I could not imagine what this car would be like with fucking 1 tire sending 480 horsepower to the wheels. One of the biggest reasons why people are interested in this car and buy it is for this engine. This engine, known to Mercedes geeks as the M156, is a 6.2 liter naturally aspirated near 500 horsepower V8. In the C63 Black Series, this car actually came with 500 horsepower, or over, I think it was 517. This engine is definitely one of the reasons why I was so interested in this car. As we all sort of have been coming to find out, Mercedes already downsized the V8 to a 4-liter V8 for the W205 C63s, but for the next generation, I think it's called the W206, it's actually going to be a 4-cylinder hybrid, and I hope that makes the value of this car go up. But honestly, that just makes me want to own one of these cars so much, and that's honestly one of the reasons why I had to pick up this car, is because I don't think I'll ever get an opportunity to own a car like this that's brand new in the future. Obviously this car isn't brand new, but big engines are getting phased out, and we're living in a future with hybrids and electric cars and whatever, hydrogen fuel cells, whatever people come up with next, and stuff like this is going to be a thing of the past soon. So in my opinion, right now, if you're in the position looking to buy a car, whether you want something new or something a little bit older, buy something like this. It might be your last chance. This car is absolutely amazing. Obviously, one of the big things about this engine is the sound. I'll tell you guys about my exhaust in a few minutes, and I'll also give you a few rev clips and stuff like that, because God, this car sounds nuts. Yeah, it's honestly one of the reasons why I bought this car, and I can't wait to share so many cool videos of me doing a lot of fun stuff with this car, whether it's sliding it around the track, going for drives with my friends, getting some exhaust clips. This channel is going to get a lot more fun with this car. Not that the M Coupe was anything bad, but this car right here is honestly one of the best sounding cars I've ever heard, especially from factory. All I've done to this car is a secondary cat delete, which isn't a huge thing to do. I paid $200 for it, and well, just listen to this car right now. That makes me crack up every single time. It's hard to believe that, I mean, I think I have a few clips I can include when this car is bone stock that I'll show you guys, but that's not that much exhaust work. Secondary cats don't do too much for sound. This car is unreal. It's pretty loud, but honestly, my big thing with this car is making it still daily drivable. I was looking into doing something like a valved exhaust, and I still might go that route in the future, but these AMG performance mufflers, they get rid of all the drones. So you can make this car pretty loud. If you keep these mufflers, it's super, super daily drivable. And honestly, this car has a very big, like, split personality. If you put this car in comfort mode, it drives around like a normal C300. Then you put this thing into manual mode, downshift a couple gears, put your foot down, and you're gone, and you're making a great noise. I love this car so much, and I can't wait to show you guys this car. I'm so excited. Into the interior, there are a few things that I want to show you guys, a few things like with the driving modes and the infotainment. So first off, like I said, this car is a facelift, so it has the newer infotainment system. I haven't had any issues with this infotainment system at all. The Bluetooth connectivity is great. It's a little bit old looking, but I mean, it's not a brand new car. I actually really like it. I'm thinking about doing some sort of plug and play CarPlay add-on for this, but other than that, I would never change the screen. I would never do anything like that, because honestly, I really like the way this interior looks. It's very sleek. This right here is your AMG Drive Selector. What this does is it switches between your comfort mode, sport, sport plus, manual, and the RS is for race start, and I'll talk about that in a second. Comfort mode right now, the car starts in second gear, which is actually really nice. This is a 7-speed automatic. Comfort mode is your most normal every day-to-day use. The shifts are slower, it stays lower in the RPMs. Then you can switch to sport mode. Sport mode, the car still shifts for itself. It shifts a little bit higher. You get a little bit more out of the rev range, but it's nothing crazy. Then you put it in Sport Plus, the car starts downshifting pretty aggressively. It lets you hold the gears out for a lot longer. But as someone coming from a manual car, I either drive this car in comfort mode or I put it straight into M. What's very cool about this car is when you change drive modes, the shifts get faster and faster. Something I found very weird about this car is in manual mode, the shifts themselves are actually faster than Sport Plus, which I think is pretty cool, because obviously it means that the car was designed to be driven in manual mode and driven pretty hard. I think that's super, super cool. Like I said, the 7-speed automatic transmission is pretty good. I'll include a little pull video so you guys can see how fast the shifts are, but definitely I think going for a 2012 car, just for this transmission alone, is a big, big, big must when you're going to buy these cars. Last thing I wanted to tell you guys about is this little thing right here. That is race start. To engage race start, you turn traction control off, put the car in Sport Plus. It can't be in the manual mode because it wants to shift for you. And then you put your foot on the brake, put it in race start by twisting the little knob over to RS. You'll see a little dialogue come up on the screen that says, pull the paddle up to confirm race start. You pull the paddle up, mat your foot on the brake, mat your foot on the gas, dump the brake, and you're good to go. Now, with these cars, and cars like this in general, older German cars, they get a lot of hate for their reliability. With this car, there are a lot of things you do want to look out for. Like I stated briefly earlier, the biggest thing with these cars that's a known reliability issue is the head bolts. Now, thankfully, halfway through when Mercedes did the facelift, they also updated the head bolts. This was super important because honestly, these cars are scary to own as a pre-facelift car because you don't want your head bolts to go that can easily blow your motor. If you buy a car with the updated facelift motor with the fixed head bolts, there's only one thing that you really should look out for, except for like your obvious little oil leaks when you go buy a car, and that's the cam adjuster issue. You'll notice this issue pretty much right away if you turn the car on and you hear a little bit of a rattle noise on cold start. Now, depending how long the rattle lasts before the car warms up, that's when you're gonna want to start to worry about it. If this rattle lasts more than like 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds on the cold start, you probably should go get it checked out. I would get it checked out anyway, even if the rattle only lasts 1 second, just because something that's telling your engine when to open and close the exhaust and intake valves is obviously pretty important to the reliability of the car. But for the most part, these cars are actually pretty reliable. I personally believe that they're more reliable than a S65 in a BMW, S85 in a BMW. These motors are pretty solid. My car has 69,000 miles on it right now. 69. This car has, which is like not low miles, but it's not high miles. The car's been well taken care of. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make sure I do oil changes frequently, let the car warm up when you beat on it. That's how you keep a car reliable. People complain about these cars a lot because they get in them cold and just beat on them. They do oil changes every 10,000 miles, and that's just not how you take care of a car. Any car can be reliable as long as you take care of it properly and do proper maintenance. Yes, some cars are more expensive to run. The biggest expense to run this car is the gas. God, this car sucks gas. I'll talk about that in a second. But if you take care of a car, it'll take care of you. That's my belief, and I'm gonna drive this car to 100,000 miles and hopefully longer. Fuel economy is not this car's strong suit. If you can see that right there, I've put 614 miles in this car since I got it, and I have averaged 10 miles per gallon. A lot of those miles have just been boring highway miles too. I mean, I have gotten on it a lot, especially to me coming from a 200 horsepower car. When you get in an almost 500 horsepower V8, you kind of want to get on a little, especially when the car makes noises like this. It's a 6.2 liter V8. This car is not exactly tuned for being economical. It's not economical at all, but if you want to have a car with an engine this good, something that you can enjoy as much as I enjoy this car, I totally think that paying a little bit more for gas all the time, definitely worth it. I mean, if you drive this car hard and you drive it a lot, you're gonna be filling up every 2-3 days, but honestly, it's so worth it. This engine is absolutely glorious. I cannot wait. I'm gonna try to not include too many clips of the exhaust in this video, just because I want to make a full video just about this engine, about the sound this car makes, because it is unreal. Let me know down below if you guys want to see something like that, but I don't really know what else to say about this car. I think that this is a very good buy right now. I got this car with 69,000 miles, a performance pack car with the LSD, 2013, so it's the second to last year they made it. It's a facelift car. I got it for just around 30 grand. I traded in my beater Maxima for that. I don't even know if that car was ever on the channel. But obviously, that's a lot of car for that much money. You're getting a 500 horsepower V8 in a nice, luxurious family sedan. This car, in particular, doesn't have many options. My car has manual seats, it doesn't have the adaptive cruise control, but those are the options that don't add as much to the value as something like the performance pack or the LSD does. So you could find a car with those options, and the adaptive cruise in this car is great. Obviously, having memory seats is nice. This car is what I think like sort of is the equivalent to like a BMW stripper spec. Like, obviously you have a sunroof in this car, that's not an option, you can't get rid of that, but it has the manual seats. The only options that were put in this car were the performance pack and the speaker. By the way, if you get one of these cars, definitely try to get one with the upgraded stereo. It bumps in this car. I love listening to music. I'm a big music guy. I mean, I listen to music whenever I'm driving, and this car slaps. The stereo in this car is awesome. Yeah, let me know down below. What do you guys want me to do with this car? Definitely do an exhaust compilation. Definitely do a more comprehensive driving review, rather than an overview of the car itself and what to look for. And really whatever you guys want to see. Definitely going to be destroying some tires in this thing, trying to take it to some track events, autocross events, anywhere I can get sideways and not get in trouble. So yeah, let me know what you guys want to see and I'll try to get it done this summer. I've got a lot of stuff that I want to do with this car, with other cars, with my photography, so make sure you get subscribed to the channel right now. And yeah, just follow for more updates. I'm going to try to be doing at least 1 or 2 videos a week from now on. It's kind of a lot of work to do as a student, but like, I love doing this stuff. Literally just filming what I do in my life, I feel like would be pretty cool content, especially when I go do car stuff. So yeah, you guys are gonna have to let me know what you want to see out of this channel, and yeah, thanks for watching. So yeah, remember to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see in the future, and thanks for watching, and say subscribe for more of this. This car is nuts. It's too fast for me. Oh.